My topic sort of overlaps with what Dr. Lumbini has already evaluated to a great extent. But I'll try to stress as much as possible on topography. Um, what are the aims of evaluation? Why do you need to evaluate a case of keratoconus? That's basically you have to differentiate between normal, suspect, and a frank keratoconus. Then to determine what's the right time frame to intervene. If you interfere at a very late stage, maybe you are not doing the right thing. It may be too late to do anything except keratoplasty in these cases. So you need to know the right time to intervene and what type of treatment we have to use. These are the basic aims of evaluating the case of suspect keratoconus. So on clinical examination, she has already dealt in detail with Munson sign, Rizzuti sign, then scissoring reflex, slit lamp findings. All these has been already um, evaluated in detail by Dr. Lumbini. Um, and one thing about Fleischer ring is it is seen more prominently in earlier cases. As the keratoconus progresses, it becomes more faint because of the thinning of the cornea. Then corneal scarring, which is seen post hydrops. As you all know, topography is a very, very complicated thing to understand. I think it is beyond the capability of ordinary mortals like us. For people who are well versed in physics and physical principles, probably understand this much more. So when you are faced with a topography map, when a map is placed in front of you, you often do not understand the and it looks like just a jumble and you don't know what to make out of it. You just go by the colors. So to a great extent, you may be correct, but it needs a little more things than that. So when you Pentacam of all the things, it's a rotating shine plug device, and it's considered today as the gold standard for so many things apart from identifying for keratoconus and for evaluating a patient for LASIK. So the important things to look for in a pentacam are you have to know the QS value, which is the quality specification. Only if the figure or the picture taken is of good quality, then only you should start analyzing the map. Then the K1 flat keratometry, you always have to take this into consideration for treating myopia, which should not be more than the flat keratometry should not be less than 34 diopters. K2, which is the steep keratometry, you always take into consideration by treating hyperopia, and this should not be more than 48 diopters. The Q value or the corneal aspherity basically indicates the shape of the cornea and the bad display, which is of two versions, version 1 and 2. So what does the bad display basically have? It has a front and back elevation maps, which is elevation of the cornea over a best fit sphere. And then the second set of maps takes into account the raw data, excluding a 3.5 millimeter circle centered on the thinnest point of the cornea. The third set of maps is the difference map between the two maps, which indicates a change in elevation from the standard. So anything, what I'm going to say here, anything which is suspect here, obviously falls into the category of the red flag in a pentacam map. So anything less than 6 microns in front and 8 microns back elevation is indicated by green color and basically indicates it's a normal cornea. Between 6 to 12 front elevation and 8 to 20 microns back elevation is indicated by yellow color, which indicates suspect cases. These are the cases which you have to be very, very careful about. Because frank keratoconus, most of us can identify either on topography or on clinical examination. But these are the cases which suspect cases are the most important, I feel, for us to evaluate further and go in for a proper line of treatment. More than 12 microns front and 20 microns back is indicated by red, and it is KC compatible. It also has something called as a progressive index, which is an arithmetic average of the thickness from the 1 to 5 millimeter diameter rings, and the average value is about 0.91. Anything above 1.81 and all is a definitely case of keratoconus. The version 2 includes 5 additional parameters, and the overall final displacement value of which is indicated by D. In this, which is anything less than 1.6 is normal, between 1.6 to 2.6 is suspect, and again if more than 2.6 is a case of frank keratoconus. So as you can see, you can see all these values here which I have mentioned, the QS, the QS value, and then the progression index. Then what I talked about, the three maps, the first set of maps, then the exclusion maps, and then the difference map. So these things at the bottom indicate into which category your case is falling. And finally, in the bad D version 2, these are the pictures which are the figures which indicate whether it is a suspect or a frank keratoconus. Here, most of the things are in red. And as I told you, the values, it is all more than 2.6. Here it is 4, so it is definitely a case of keratoconus. Then red flags, almost all the points which I just now mentioned fall into the red flags category. So, like I told you, any front elevation more than 13 microns to 15 microns is suspect, and more than 15 micron is risk. Back elevation more than 20 should be a case for frank keratoconus, and anything between 18 to 20 you should deal with carefully. Difference between front and back, even though these two values may be in the normal range, if the difference between the front and the back at the same point on the map, if it is more than 5 microns, again you take it as a case of suspect. And these are, why do you need to identify these suspect cases? When you are planning a surgery, whether it is a LASIK, if anything comes in the suspect range, you obviously want to postpone your surgery till such time as you repeat the maps and see if there is any change in these parameters, or you alter your line of treatment. Then any inferior superior asymmetry of more than 30 microns in the 4 millimeter zone, more than 10 microns difference in thickness between apex and thinnest point, not more than 30 micron difference between right and left eyes at the same point on the map. Dr. Lumbini defined progression, but what Dr. Rohit Shetty and all believe is a 0.5 diopter increase in two sagittal maps in steep axis in a time frame of 6 months, or a 10% reduction in the thickness at the same point over a 6-month period can be safely defined as progression. And these are the cases which we should think of going in for a collagen cross-linking. Serious topographer is a Schemfleck plus Placido device. It measures more than 21,000 anterior and 16,000 posterior points. It has a 4-map configuration, the thickness, tangential curvature, anterior and posterior elevation maps, and it gives a fairly accurate summary. It applies artificial intelligence to arrive at a diagnosis. It categorizes the map into either a normal keratoconus suspect or a keratoconus compatible. But however, sometimes because of so many improper formatting of the values as per European standards, we might arrive at cases which are not compatible with the Indian conditions. So it is always a good idea to remember these values. As far as the bad D of the Pentacam, it corroborates more or less with the 4.5 mm RMS by A value of the back. So these two in cases of frank keratoconus. But whereas if you see suspect cases, probably the Pentacam maps are much better than these values. Why do you need to identify these things? Because basically now it's not just keratoconus treatment does not just involve trying to strengthen the cornea. It also involves trying to make the cornea more regular. So there is a procedure for that, and we need to evaluate 4 points take 4 points into consideration, whether the position of the cone, then the Q value, then the amount of error which you plan to correct, and the change it produces. So once you take this, you can go either for a Q value based or a refractive addition based correction, which involves a PRK in addition to cross-linking. With these few words,